What up, New York Giant Nation and football fans all over the world? It's your boy Mac, the Giants fan, and I'm here with my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. This is the real deal NFC East Round-Up. Punch that intro. Good evening out there, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Real Deal NFC's Roundup, man. How's it going out there tonight for you, Adam, man?
It's going good. Twitter space can be a terrible place to waste brain cells, but other than that, I'm enjoying life.
I hear you there, man. I just really don't really bother too much with those spaces anymore. It's just some of them get a little too out of control, and I just can't take it, man. I can't, so I just don't even bother really going in them anymore. It just gets they get a little crazy, but let's get right to it, I guess, man. Let's get right to it. Let's go back to Thanksgiving. I mean, I know this happened. It seemed like so long ago now when this game took place Thursday night on Thanksgiving, man. Excuse me, hit the wrong banner there. Get me. Washington Washington Commanders going over to Dallas, man, on Thanksgiving and getting absolutely trashed on Thanksgiving down in Jerry's World. 45-10, man. Adam, what was your thoughts on this one? What's going on? No Mets, no Nets, no Jets.
My thoughts
Thanks for
were
stopping in, bro.
my thoughts were this: I haven't given up fully on Sam Howell yet. He did have a bad game, but he's playing a good defense. But the Commanders are terrible, and the Cowboys look like they're Super Bowl ready. Let's be honest. They look Super Bowl ready, right? They look like they could be the best team in football. They played like they could be the best team in football. And I don't want to hear any more about Dak Prescott. He's playing at an MVP level. Okay. Two guys in the NFC East are playing at MVP levels. Let's stop that dumb debate right now and put those respect on their name. I know we don't like Cowboys and much, but this guy is playing out of his mind. He really is. And I know people don't want to talk about, hey, that's why what's going on. I know people don't want to talk about that, but that's what I'm going to talk about because that's what I believe. Dak Prescott is having a great season, and on Thursday during Turkey Day, he showed you why. They ran the football. He threw 4 touchdowns. He had CeeDee Lamb. He rushed for a touchdown. Like, he was all over the place. And that Cowboy defense, they had their way. Deron Bland, a pick 6, number 6 of the year, like the 5th one of the year. Like, the guys, remember, we said Trayvon Diggs blew out his Achilles or whatever it was, his knee, right? We're like, oh, man, there's going to be a drop-off. Well, it hasn't been much of a drop-off, okay? That guy has come in and not missed a beat. Let me tell you, I'm already scared about this cornerback class next year for them when they have Bland and Diggs and Gilmore back there together. They are playing well. Van Der Esch, they lost Van Der Esch. The guy has stepped right in, and they haven't missed a beat. And now they're looking at Shaq Leonard. Who knows? This team is good, people. And I think we're gearing up to see a big game December 10th. I don't want to, make a spoiler like Paul Heyman because I want it to marinate a little bit. But if they handle their business like they did on this Thursday, we might see that.
His squad agrees. He said, I hate to agree, but Dak is definitely having a very good year. I do think a non-quarterback should win MVP like Myles Garrett or Tyreek if he hits the 2,000 yards. But
I agree with you.
We'll see how that all plays out.
I mean, Lawrence Taylor
Definitely see how that all plays out.
Lawrence Taylor won the MVP award, one of a few defensive players to ever win the MVP award during the season. It's now what it is like in the NBA. It's a popularity contest mostly, right? It doesn't like last year. I know that Mahomes deserved it, but you could have gave it to Jalen Hurts, and it would have equally meant just as much. if not more, because he was the valuable guy. This year, Dak Prescott, all I heard is how bad this guy was. He's lost it. He's lost a step. And all I told people was, yo, the guy's got 37 touchdowns. He throws for 4,400 yards. People slap me in the face every day about this guy. And I don't even like Dak Prescott. And I was trying to tell you how good he could potentially be. And in this Mike McCarthy offense, which they're allowing him to throw downfield and go, the one thing that they're really lacking is a true tight end. A true home run tight end like they had with Dalton Schultz. He wasn't really a home run, but a reliable guy. This offense would be through the roof.
I mean, look, there's no debate about what Dak Prescott are doing. I mean, I can't argue with you. Dak Prescott is definitely playing, at a high level right now, especially just the last shit. You look at just the last month of the season, he's just been on a tear. I mean, and people do seem to want to still question. I think the biggest question mark you get with the Dallas Cowboys is we know they're a good team. I think people, for the most part, acknowledge that they're a good team. I think people are ready to see this good team just take that next step and get over that hump, and hopefully, and we'll see. I mean, I'm not saying hopefully because I don't want to see it, but
I think they're
we'll
going to
see
do
if they do that. If they do that this year, I mean, it seems like it's like this team is always pretty much always in the mix and always good. It's just they just can't seem to get over that hump when they get to when they get into the postseason. It's just
well.
always a disappointing exit for them. It seems like year in
Let's
and
see
year
how
out.
they
So
do these
maybe this
next
will be the
games.
year where they prove everybody wrong.
Let's see what they do these next two games.
I
Big
mean, we'll see.
opponents these two games. I'm not trying to move on to the next game, but Washington, there's not much to talk about. That team's in turmoil. They're probably going to fire around Rivera. I don't know what they're going to do at the quarterback position. They have every opportunity for them to draft a guy if they don't want Sam Howell. And, if I'm a coach, why would I? Now, we'll see what happens. I think if he plays well or gets to 4,000 yards, I think they should bring in somebody. Maybe you don't draft Sam Howell, but maybe draft a guy in the second round to say, hey, we're going to bring in a quarterback, just kind of compete and see where it goes. We'll see what happens there, right? But for me, the Cowboys, if the Cowboys want me to be believers, win the next two games, and you make me a believer because these next two games, Seattle and then the Eagles, those are defining games. Those could be your season. Remember, when Giants were winning Super Bowls, there was a game that defined their season. The Dallas Cowboy game. JPP knocks the football out, and then again they do it again against the Cowboys against Romo down the sideline. That kind of helped propel them. The Cowboys need to figure out. They need to get over that hump. The one albatross is the 49ers. I'm sure they would love another chance at the 49ers, but you get another chance at the Eagles. And you need to go in there not overlooking your next game in Seattle, right? Because Seattle's going to be dangerous, even though I think they're going to win this game. You can't overlook them and then say, oh, we're going to play Philly. Because if you get there and you're 9-3, and I do believe the 49ers are coming for blood, and we'll get to that in a minute. But if you want me to believe in you, beat Seattle and go make it a game. Don't even leave the destiny in the other team's hands. Go make the destiny.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I agree. Like this game against Seattle is important, but I mean, that's also an important one just because of the situation, the way the standings are sitting. You kind of can't afford to really drop any games right now. You need to catch up and you need to catch up to this Philadelphia Eagle football team. But that game in December against the Eagles, man, that's the one right there. That's the one as a Cowboy fan you got to have marked down on your calendar, and you got to be ready. You got to go on there strapped up, and pretty much like his squad saying in this comment, they got to prove it, man. They got to prove that they can beat these teams. They got to prove that because that's the cream. I mean, we know they can beat the pretty much all the other teams within the conference. I mean, like you've seen what they've done to, like, for instance, us as the New York Giants. You see what they've done to Washington. I mean, like you said, I'm feeling pretty good about them against Seattle this week, even though it's a big game for Seattle as well. But I still just believe that they got to. That's the thing. That's where the difference is, and I think it's people mistake that for trying to call the Cowboys not a great team, but at the end of the day, they are a good football team. But they still got to prove it against these other teams that are on that higher level, on that upper bracket as well. And that's what they haven't been doing. So I mean, you saw what happened to them against the Niners earlier in their opportunity against the Niners. They lost a heartbreaker against the Eagles earlier. They did lose the heartbreaker against the Eagles earlier this
But I
season, but
think
they
that's
do get another opportunity out of them. They gotta. they gotta go out there and prove that they can that those because that at this end of the day now it doesn't matter really so much. It doesn't really mean shit beating up on the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders and other teams of that nature because pretty much everybody knows they can do that. And what they need to do is go out there and prove it against the team, the Philadelphia Eagles and those squads of that caliber. So it's really up to the Cowboys at this point now. It's up to them, and they control it. It's got to be coming from within, from them. They
Right.
got to figure it out. As far as
I mean,
as far as this Washington Commander team, real quick, let me just hit them real quick. This team is a it's a team that they started off really up and down. They showed us a few signs of positive of some things, positive things, and then things that kind of the wheels are starting to fall off a little bit. They're technically now last place in the division because the New York Giants over got the had a tiebreaker on them right now. And it's just I don't know. Sam Howell to me still is a guy I think you can really I think they should really just dial in, focus on him as a team, because then really figure out is this the guy? If this is the guy we can continue to build things around offensively, because our offense hasn't truly been the major problem. Their defense has been the bigger problem this season, and they do need to get that in check. The coaching situation, figure it out. Are you firing Ron Rivera? Or are you not? I mean, they got to make some decisions, and they got to get their act together and figure it out. But this Washington Commanders team, yeah, this season could be completely lost for them now at this point because they just don't seem to just not know what they want to do. But I wouldn't expect. I would still expect a couple of good games from Sam Howell. He's shown the ability to do that. He's put up some. He's had a couple of games where he's put up some serious numbers this season, and I just think that I think they really need to really just zero and focus on him and make sure and see whether or not he is the guy, because they're going to be once again in a position to have a very premium draft pick. And like we've been talking about, the quarterbacks are out there, man. So we'll see what direction they want to go. But as far as back to Dallas again, man, this like I said, it's up to them, man. They got to go out there and prove it themselves. Now they got to go up. Like it doesn't, like I said, nobody's really going to care about whoever else they beat, because if they still can't figure out a way to beat the 49ers of the world or the Philadelphia Eagles of the world, no, at the end of the day, nobody's going to care. That's the situation the Cowboys are in. It's unfortunate, but that's just what it is. People just aren't going to show them that respect, or for instance, Dak Prescott either. That show him that respect if you can't go out there and get those kind of wins because that's just what it's coming down to for a squad like that at the end of the day, man.
yeah. Look, and I want to touch on something that this person said. No Mets. Let Philly not have much for them to play for when we playoffs. First off, who cares? Why do you want a team to lie down when they playoffs? That doesn't show you anything other than you get a cheap win if you do that. Second off, what makes you think the Eagles' backups aren't better than the Giants' starters at this point in the season? So I don't want to hear about oh, they're not going to have much to play for. They're going to have a ton to play for, and they're probably going to play a half if they are the number one seed. I expect the 49ers to I expect a few roadblocks in the road. When they go play the Eagles, that should be for the division, and the Cowboys should know that it could possibly be for home field advantage, or at least the number two seed, and you can push the Eagles to a wild card team. That's what you can do. There are avenues that way, or you know what I mean. That's just how you have to look at it. If you get in the division and you win the division, that's it. You can't worry about this, that, or the other thing, or hoping that the Giants beat them at the end of the year because they have nothing to play for. You have your own destiny in your hands. Take it. Take it now. Show the world on Thursday night against a decent team in Seattle what you're capable of, right? And I believe they're going to blow the doors off Seattle. I just do.
I mean, we will see. Short week, not a short week for them. They actually get a regular week for them, Thursday to Thursday, back
Please
to back
stop
Thursday
fishing for
games
wins, bro.
for this Cowboy team. But uh, we'll see, man. Like I said, they go out there and make a statement on Thursday night. Then they get that extra time to prepare for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. So
You done gone
we
crazy.
will see. But let's switch gears a little bit. Let's switch gears a little bit here, man. Let's go to Wash. Let's get Washington out the way quick, man. Miami visiting the Washington Commanders on Sunday afternoon, man. What do you expect to see from this Washington team? And Miami Dolphins also have been a team kind of kind of struggling a bit lately. The last couple of weeks here, man. Last few weeks they've kind of been a little wishy washy. I mean, they called a bad Jets team on Black Friday and just went to town on them, but they wasn't a great performance by the Miami Dolphins by no means in that game. We expect to see from the Washington Commanders here against the Dolphins on Sunday afternoon.
I wouldn't expect a track meet. I think Washington's going to bounce back offensively. I just think Sam Howell's going to have an easier time getting through some of his reads. Doesn't mean they're going to win the game. Doesn't mean they're going to score any points. I think Miami's going to make it a track meet. I really do. But Miami has struggled a little bit, out the gate against these lesser opponents. And they could possibly be, that kind of game where they play down to their opponents as they're walking through the AFC. Remember, they're fighting for not only right now the division, because now they're in basically sole possession of the division. There's nobody probably catching them at this point. And they're also trying to fight for home field advantage. So we'll see what happens that way. I'd like to see Sam Howell progress. I think I want to see him bounce back from a tough loss and a tough outing. Again, another outing where he kind of got beat up. Let's see if we can do that. The Miami Dolphins defense is not crazy. It's good, but it's nothing like you can't pass on and have some movement. I think they're going to lose like 35-21, something like that. But at this point in the season, who cares? Who cares if they're going to win? They're not trying to win. They're trying to evaluate, and that's where I would see them go. If I'm a Washington fan, I want to win the game, but I know what I'm up against. So I rather take I rather just not concede the victory, but if I do lose, I'd rather see the young guy do well. That's basically it.
Kind of right there with you. I think they just and right here with his squad on this comment referring to the Washington's coaches need to really just do a better job. Pay attention to detail. I think this coaching staff is doing this kid a disservice, man. Like I said, Sam Howell drops back over 40 times basically every single game, no matter what the situation of the game is, whether they're winning big, whether they're losing. They're dropping this kid back and making him a sitting duck back there behind a poor offensive line, might I add you.
And it's still passing
as well. It's not doing this kid any favors in his progression. Like I said, you have quality running backs in the backfield at your disposal. You need to use those guys a little bit more and help take some of the pressure off of the young quarterback, man. I just think this coaching staff is doing him a disservice. But everything you read, it looks like, I don't know, Ron Rivera's probably going to be out of there. I don't know if the plan is just to move Eric Bieniemy to be up. Who knows? We'll see when we get to that point. But they've been cleaning house. Well, I'm not liking the way he's calling the offense. Like I said, I feel it's not nearly balanced enough considering some of the deficiencies they have, like with that offensive line. The offense is not balanced nearly enough. They're leaving their quarterback out there, hanging him out there to dry, man. So I'm not sure if he would necessarily be the guy going forward either. So, like I said, all we can do is see. They have been cleaning the house a little bit. Jack Del Rio got the axe after the game on Thanksgiving. Tough day to get fired. Next Thanksgiving, you get your ass kicked, fire you the next day, man. Just like
we don't
that.
have much. We're not that much better on our end either. So
happy holidays, Jack Del Rio. But
I bet you his turkey. Listen, I bet his turkey's tasting real good. He's like, I'm out of Washington. Thank God. Thank God that franchise. I mean, well, let's see what the new ownership does and what coaches that they bring in, because there's going to be a lot of guys, traveling and changing and things like that. Let's see what the new coach wants. Let's see if the new owners believe in Sam Howell. That's why I want Sam Howell to play well, because if he can play well amongst this thing and end up with solid NFL numbers, and I'm talking like 4,200 yards, 26 touchdowns, that's something you can work on and hang your hat on. So this guy threw for 400-something yards in the NFL, not 3,200, but he threw for 4,200 yards, which is big boy NFL stuff. And if the next guy comes in, let's see if you can get a coach that helps you out, right? Like helps that kid grow. Whether it's Eric Bieniemy, I don't think it's Eric Bieniemy, because the thing is, Eric Bieniemy's not changing, and that's the problem that I have with Eric Bieniemy. I don't care about him throwing. Know the game flow. You should have ran 100,000 times in the Giants, and you didn't. You should be running the football 100 times to those two guys, making the game easier, helping your offensive line out a little bit more. You're doing is a Kansas City model with not Kansas City parts. You can't drive a Maserati and have Toyota parts under the engine. It's not going to work.
It's not. and that seems to be the problem there in Washington. But I think as far as this game goes, I do see Miami pulling out a close one. This is, I mean, kind of desperate times for them as well. Things just kind of beginning to fall apart. I mean, not totally fall apart, but at the same time, they need to play some much better football coming down the stretch here. And I think they do get on track a little bit in this game. I think it'll be a pretty close game. I think Washington will keep this one pretty competitive. I don't see them getting blown out here. I think you're right, like you said, Sam Howell probably be a type of game he comes out and plays well, type of defense he can execute against. And I think that we'll see that, and we'll see a competitive football game. But I think the Dolphins just a little too much. Still overall, will have a little too much offense with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and company. And I think that they will end up pulling out a close one here. Miami Dolphins win a close one down in D.C. on Sunday afternoon. But with that being said, unless you have any more thoughts on that one, real quick, we can head to Thursday night and start breaking this one down a little bit. Seattle and Dallas. Seattle going to Jerry's World, take on the Dallas Cowboys. This is a big game for both of these football teams. Dallas Cowboys they can't really afford to lose, drop one because the Eagles seem to just continue to win football games, and the Cowboys need to keep up. And the Seattle Seahawks just need to get a W because they need to be able to just keep their playoff hopes alive in the NFC in general. Period. I don't think their division is. I don't think they really have much of a chance of winning their division over against the 49ers at the end of the day, but they do have a very legitimate chance of controlling their own destiny to make sure they get one of those wild card spots. So I think this game is definitely important for them from that standpoint. So they need to keep their hopes alive, and they've been playing some pretty
Thank
bad
you.
football the last couple. So we'll see what they need to do here. But I think how you feel about this one, Adam?
Well, I think the Cowboys are going to come out and dominate again. I think Seattle's reeling a bit. And it's I think if anyone's come back down to earth, it's been Geno Smith this year. Not to mention Daniel Jones, but we'll get to him in a minute. But Geno Smith has come back down to earth, and I think Dallas is gonna. It's in Dallas. I mean, you're giving Dallas a week off to prepare, right? They go in, beat Seattle, and then you're giving them 10 days to prepare for the Eagles. I mean, I'm just saying, man, the Cowboys take care of business here. I think it's gonna be a close game for about a half, and then I think the Cowboys are gonna take over in the second half, and they're gonna be too much for Geno Smith, and we're really gonna get to see. Um, it really wasn't that great of a win, but we're really going to get to see how good the Dallas Cowboys are because if they go out and dominate this team, as I think they will, we have to start saying, well, they didn't just beat this team, they actually beat a good team on their schedule. So if they beat this team, and this is going to be one of those tests because it's actually a decent team on the schedule, then we can start to say, maybe that's it. And then I don't think the good thing is you're not closer to the Eagle game, right? If this were Sunday, I'd worry a little bit about a trap game. You're on Thursday. You're by yourself. There's nothing to worry about. No other games are playing. You handle your business on Thursday, and you'll be good to go.
What's
Because I
going
can.
on, Big Simple Man? Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming through, man. We was just talking about your Commanders, man. Even some of their struggles lately, bro. But maybe y'all get yourselves together, man.
Get
But
yourself a good coaching staff.
yeah, I think
I think you have a good quarterback, and you'll be good to go.
yeah, these Seahawks, these command. I mean, see this. If this game was out in Seattle, I'd like the Seahawks' chances a little bit better. But if they were at home in Seattle, man, I think that going to Dallas, I think Dallas is playing on a very high level right now. To be honest, if I had to be honest, I had to be truthful with my statements. I just believe the Dallas Cowboys are already. I think they are. I think they're a little more dialed in than what we've become used to. Is that Dak Prescott seems to have a lot to prove for some reason, and he's playing like a guy that has a lot to prove. And I just
And
think
well,
that I think it keeps it going right now against the Seattle Seahawks. Man, I think it keeps it going, and I think the Cowboys come
you have
out,
some good running
and
backs.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to say they're going to win. I don't know if they'll win big, but they'll come out. They'll win. They'll control the better part of this football game,
You don't think
and
they'll
pretty
win
much
big?
win comfortably. I think they'll win comfortably. I'm not going to say necessarily big. I think they'll have pretty much control of the game, but I think Seahawks will still keep because this is a big game for the Seahawks too. And then like the Seahawks is coming in here thinking like no big deal. You know what I mean? It's a big one for them too. They really need to get themselves back together. They've been coming off a
Agreed.
couple of bad weeks. Gino's had a couple of rough weeks. I mean, I know this is a hell of a defense they're getting ready to go against, but
That's what I mean.
they're playing for something too. You know what I mean? They're playing for their playoff lives as well. And I think that they're going to come out and be a little fired up, ready to go for this one. I mean, and I mean, who know? And plus, who something about the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas and prime time situation. People want to go there and try to feel like they got something to prove. So we'll see what Seahawks team we get. But I do think the Dallas Cowboys still win this game comfortably on Thursday night. What's going on, Philly B? It's my guy Philly B stopping in the chat, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, bro.
I'm sure they can.
What you got up here, Big Simple?
I mean, I couldn't have said anything more. I mean, I don't really have more about this game. I just think I hope Seattle's uniforms are cool looking. That's about it. You know.
Big Simple says he thinks the only thing I was right about was I believe we got our quarterback. Everything else is a wash. I think you might have your quarterback. I think you really need to really just take these last weeks of the season or so and just really evaluate the young man, and really just lock in on him. Because I mean, you know what you got in some of your other guys already anyway.
You
You
do
know
have
your,
a good
your
running
Warrens
back.
and your Brian
You
Robinsons.
do have good running backs.
You know what you got in those guys. You can take a look, take a hard look at Sam Howell going for the rest of the way, and just like I said, you just got to be sure, before you just completely move away or make. Because there's other needs you can address in the draft with a high pick that you probably have. You know, what I mean, if you don't need to go out there and feel the need to go out and get one of those big name quarterbacks right away in the early portion of the draft, because you feel
Get the
comfortable
line. Go
going
get the
forward with
line.
Sam Howell for the most part.
Take Joe Alt.
Just because the offensive line definitely needs to be addressed. The O line is a serious problem in Washington right now.
See, the thing is,
So
I want to
need to get
address that
that
real quick.
situated.
The good thing about knowing if Sam Howell is your guy, it allows you to have flexibility in the draft, right? Because you got this year under your belt with him. He's got that experience. You understand that he knows how to read defenses. He's a quality player. If you give him more time, you think he has a decent ceiling, right? Now you can go because you have Terry McLaurin, because you have Curtis Samuel, because you have Jahan Dotson. Go out now and fix the line. Get a couple guys on defense and free agency, fix the line and free agency as well. And next thing you know, you're not at the bottom of the thing. You're competing with the teams like the Giants and maybe even the Eagles. And here you go. You know what I mean? Like this is and it's going to be a deep class for not only the position we talk about the most, quarterback, but also every other position. It's just going to be a decent class this year that's coming out all around. And so to have that, I wouldn't say covered, but to have a guy that you think is going in the right direction. Like he's not Justin Fields. He's already showed you more as a passer than Justin Fields ever was, right? So if I'm the Commanders and I take a good hard look at him, I may be passing on a quarterback this year only because I, believe in Sam Howell and I want to put together some pieces, right? And see if he can do it. And it's a lucrative draft. I'm not saying don't draft a guy in the back end like maybe a Spencer Rattler to come in the fourth round as well to maybe compete and keep a guy on the edge of his edge, but we'll see, man.
Jose in the chat wants to know: can the Eagles secure number one seed before the game with the Giants? Here's the issue with that: they can't really mathematically. I don't think so, because mathematically, as long as
What are we
they
talking
can,
about with the
if the
playoffs?
49ers and Cowboys, if the 49ers and Cowboys drop another game or two, you know what I mean? Then yeah, but that would have to happen. And then looking at the schedules, doesn't look like that's going to be happening. Probably not likely to happen. I mean, maybe the 49ers lose to the Eagles this weekend. Maybe the Cowboys lose to the Eagles again. But
You
at
know
the
the
same
probability of
time,
making the
numbers
playoffs.
mathematically they won't be that far. Mathematically, they won't be that far out of it. They still won't be far enough ahead that by the time they play the Giants, there's still like three or four more games left on the schedule at that point. So no, they mathematically it's not likely that they would be able to have number one wrapped up by the time they play us. It's not likely, but
Who
I guess it's
cares?
still technically possible, depending what the 49ers and Cowboys do at that these next few weeks. But
I can't with this fan base right now,
but
yo.
uh, uh but I mean, look, mathematically the Giants are not out of it mathematically, but it's not likely. I don't. I mean, I don't.
It's a
I don't
one
really
percent
want to talk
chance.
too much about the
Like,
playoffs because it's
come
not.
on, bro.
It's not
We still
likely,
have to beat
not
Green Bay
mathematically out of
in
it,
New
but
Orleans.
you dug yourself into a hole that's like a little too deep, I think, and it's just I'm not really thinking that's really much of a real chance. Not with 2 games against the Eagles,
You think
and
the
we
Eagles
put
are going
what
to
a
find out?
tough game still. I mean, Giants are still going to be underdogs the rest of the season to whoever they're playing against.
I
So
mean,
no
last
matter
week,
who else is on the
let's
schedule, they're going to still be underdogs.
let's get to last week's game because we need to talk about this. If people are thinking playoffs, let's get to last week's game because I got pretty much a bone to pick. Actually, that's not correct, but whatever. Enjoy getting to the playoffs and getting railroaded. Give me a break. All right, New England versus the Giants. If anyone thinks this putrid ass team who scored 10 points against the worst team in football, who had had to get 3 turnovers and still damn near got tied at the end of the game, thinks we're going to the playoffs, what are you smoking? I mean, what are you watching? They were terrible on Sunday. If it wasn't for the fact that we had a terrible New England team playing against us, we'd probably lose. I mean, my God. This is crazy to think about. Like that, we have a chance. The Giants did nothing in that game. They hardly had any rushing yards. The quarterback threw a 7-yard touchdown that Isaiah Hodgins, stiff armed the guy for. Mac Jones threw an interception when they were in the red area. Then he kicks a field goal there. The game could be different. Like, what are we talking about here? We scored 10 fucking points, and you want me to believe that we're going to go out and beat Green Bay, who has a better defense and a better offense than the Pats? Are you kidding me? Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? I know these people don't want to draft a quarterback and they want to win games. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. Fan how you want to fan. But don't tell me we're going to make the playoffs when there's a 1% chance that even if we win out, we barely have a 50% chance of making it if we win out. That's 5 games in a row that we have to win. 5 fucking games in a row.
Hold on. Big Simple. You talking about Pest, the content creator, Pest?
R.I.P. Pest.
Is that who we're talking about here?
Yes, he is.
Oh man, I know he was dealing with a thing, man. I didn't know it got to that point, man. I gotta say condolences to that man, man. His family, rest in peace, man. Prayers up to him, his family, anybody that loved that man. I mean, he was definitely a passionate New York Giant fan, and he'll be missed, man. He'll be missed by a lot, man. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
It really was a tragedy.
Oh man,
I met him once, or not really met him, but I guess hang out at the Giant Fan Fest. It was nice to be around the content creator. I know some of his stuff, and it's unfortunate. It's been going around Twitter, the condolences. So on this show, we, as Giant fans, our hearts and prayers go out to him and his family, especially for a guy his age. It's sad, it's tragic, and the family, the Giants family, lost a good person.
Most definitely. But
this fucking
look, man, we already know, like, but look, you know how I feel about this. Like I said, I want to win football games. If we can win, we win. I don't care about
Are you kidding me?
the draft, and I'm fine. And I'm not talking about play. I already said what I feel about the playoffs. It's not likely to happen.
I'm not saying
sure, mathematically we're not out of it, but we're not likely to make the postseason for real. Seriously, I mean it will still be. You will still be pretty much having to run the table for the most part to win.
Right, run the table, and we don't have many tiebreakers, folks. We don't have many tiebreakers,
so that's not really. Like I said, with 2 games against the Eagles on the schedule alone, that's to me already.
You have the Packers.
Pretty much ruled that out from happening. Because look, Adam, come on. I told you how I feel about the Packers. Packers are 5-6. They're not a good football team. They're not a winnable football game.
Stop.
They're better than us technically. They're better than us technically, but that's a winnable football. Because you're making it almost sound like that's not even like it's no possibility we even have a chance against this football team.
Fine.
They played a great game Thursday. But that was by far and away the best football they played all season.
But what is a game? Team. Okay, but what does this game on Sunday tell you? We got 3 turnovers, and the team still had a chance to drive downfield at the end of the game. So don't sit here and tell me that if they didn't have a better quarterback, that they wouldn't have won. The Packers are a better team than the Patriots.
That's how
and they're fighting for.
That's how that game went. But that Packers game could go a whole different way. We can go out there turning Jordan Love over and shit like that, and it could still go a whole different way, like the Washington game went. That game, they turned the ball all over the field, and we turned that into points, and the shit just went different.
I think you're underestimating.
I'm not underestimating them. I'm saying I'm not underestimating them. What I know is that I'm not. I'm saying that that this is not one of those games where I'm just going to be like, where I'm not going to be shocked if we beat the Packers. I wouldn't be shocked if we beat them. I wouldn't be like, oh wow, how the hell do we beat that team? I wouldn't be like, how the hell do we beat that team? That team is 5-6 for a reason.
Okay,
they'll be losing record as well. It's not like they have one more win than we do.
Lions. Who have we beat?
Like that's one team. They beat one team that's good.
I'm just saying.
Like they have won. They went, and like I said, it took an effort that you haven't seen from that team all season on Thursday when they beat the Lions. Like I said, that was far. I understand with that, Adam. I do. But you keep ruling this game off, like in the New Orleans game too. You keep ruling both of these games like as if these two teams have been playing some amazing football all season.
I'm not
saying that.
Like you guys are.
I'm not even saying you're totally wrong. I'm just saying because I got to understand we're going to be underdogs in all of these football games. We will be that regardless.
Okay, fine. They lose.
It's just.
Okay,
it's just personal, like pride and effort. You know what I mean? It's just like a man thing. You just want to go out there and not look like a bunch of fucking losers like they did beginning of the year when they were looking like when they were just getting absolutely getting railroaded and trashed by everybody we played against.
I'm telling you what I see.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying.
I saw two quarterbacks come into a game last week. One threw interceptions, the other threw interceptions, and they still had a chance to move the football up and down the field on us. Okay, I saw an offense that could barely move the football unless given the ball at the middle of the field. The way they're winning is the same way we say is not sustainable. It's going to be hard to win like that all the time. Yes, you can have the turnover battle, but you can't keep having teams hang around the game. With 3 turnovers against Commanders, you should have blown the doors off that team with 6 fucking turnovers. You didn't. You did what the Chargers did. The Chargers had 4 turnovers.
Yeah, that goes to the deficiency of this offense. Right. We understand that. Right. Like I'm not like I don't understand. We understand the deficiencies of this offense.
The Packers defense
our defense is good. Our defense is good. You can't sit there and act like these turnovers aren't these turnovers. It doesn't matter who you keep because you keep saying playing bad quarterbacks and all this, that, and other. These same bad quarterbacks they're not turning the ball over like that against everybody else they play against. So you got to get a New York Giants credit defense. What are you talking about? Some degree of credit. Okay, yeah, I guess the Cowboys also, but you make it seem like they go out there every week.
Mac Jones every week has thrown interception.
He has been. He has been, but you're taking all the credit from their defense. You're taking the credit away from the defense, which has been playing good football.
This offense is putrid, so don't tell me the biggest.
It is. It is.
And that's
I understand that.
And if we play a competent team, because we got 3 turnovers in the game, and they still had a chance to drive down the field with 2 minutes to go in the game. So what I'm saying is that the Packers.
But that's my point. Like you said, a competent team. The Packers are 5-6. Are not a competent. You're not 5-6 after 12 weeks of football and be called a competent team. That's what I'm saying. That's not what I call a competent team.
But
I call that just a. They're one. They have. Their record says they have 1 win more than us.
How many?
Their record says they have 1 win more than us.
Beat a team that was contending in the damn Lions.
That's one. That's one.
Okay.
The Cardinals beat the Cowboys earlier this season. What's that mean?
We beat the Commanders.
The Cardinals beat the Cowboys earlier this season. Shit like that happens.
They're still shitty. They went out and beat. And the Cardinals still.
Yeah, shit like that happens.
Give me a break. You're not.
I'm not on this. Like I said, I'm not going to take it away from what the Packers did on Thursday against the Lions. But I'm just not going to sit there and be like. But I'm not going to act like this team is so amazing because they went out there and played a great game one week out of the season. They went out and played a truly great game this 1 week of the season. Jordan Love played phenomenal, but he has not played that way consistently throughout this whole season.
He played the last 2 games pretty well. I mean, I don't think, if you haven't been watching, he's played pretty well the last 2 games. That's a fact, okay? They lost to Pittsburgh in the last second.
Well, the New York Giants defense has played pretty well
for
a couple games too, Adam, and that's a fact.
But they've only scored 10 goals.
That's a factor in the game, and it's going to be a factor in the game.
Don't believe me. Believe that this team has a chance to go to the playoffs. Kumbaya and rainbows.
I didn't say that.
Let's draft our next quarterback in the 5th round.
I want to win. I do want to win.
And away we go.
I do want to win. Cool, I do want to win football games. If they can win football games, I'd still rather win football games.
Rights? What are you bragging?
For what? Just because they're the games here in front of them to play, and I'm not going to root for them to lose. If you lose because you just get outplayed and lose, then that's so big because we're not a good football team. But if you can win. And this is not a game that's like out of the realm of suspicion that they can't win. In a couple of weeks coming off their bye week, who knows? Get Dexter Lawrence back in the lineup. Also, like that, even with that Patriots game, the impact of Dexter Lawrence not being out there, that's a big factor on the defense as well. The way they were running the football, those big chunks of yards they were getting in the run game. I mean, I'm not saying they wouldn't have been able to completely run the ball if Dexter was out there, but at the same time, they wouldn't have been getting those big. They were running right up the fucking gut for a reason because Dexter Lawrence wasn't out there. So I mean, those things impact football games.
They still gave up 100 yards and Dexter Lawrence is in there, so it doesn't matter. That you're saying that it doesn't. They've been giving up 100 yards. They gave 100 yards to the fucking Commanders, and they had Dexter Lawrence in the game. So it doesn't. They gave up 100 yards to the Cowboys. Dexter Lawrence is in that game. The reason they're giving up 100 yards, they lost Leonard Williams, and he's more of an impact than we thought. This team is going nowhere. So whether they win or lose,
well, absolutely that too.
It's going nowhere. So what does a few wins at the end of the season do? Give me a high five? Great. If you want to win, that's what you want, Mac. That's fine. I don't care if that's what you want. I don't care if we want to lose these games. But I'm not going to overlook the opponent and just say, even though they're 50-50, 100%.
I'm not overlooking anybody. I'm saying that the Green Bay Packers aren't as good as you're making them sound, is what I'm saying. You're making them sound like they're a juggernaut, like there's some kind of juggernaut team that there's just no way the Giants have a chance of beating the Green Bay Packers.
I think they're a lot better than you think. I think they're a lot better than you think, and that's just what I feel.
I don't think they're that good. I think they're 5-6 for a reason.
Okay,
they're not that, and it's because they're not that good.
Our defense is good. We're 4-8. Does that not mean our defense is not good?
Exactly. I didn't say that. I said our
statistically
our offense has serious efficiencies.
And our
has serious deficiencies.
So I'm just telling you what I see, but you guys don't want to agree. I mean, fine. You want to believe what you want to believe. I see what I see, and I think what we're doing, scoring 10 points a game, even getting 3 turnovers, is not going to win football games, especially down the stretch. These teams are still going to be fighting for playoffs. And people who say the Eagles are going to lie down for us at the end of the year are kidding me because their Eagles team, their backups are still just as good. But hey, listen, if that's what you believe, I believe we might lose. I don't think winning any of these games does anything, proves anything. We're still gonna suck. What, we get to the playoffs? What, we to get railroaded for what? So we can high five and say we make the playoffs? There's a 50% chance that we even make the playoffs, but we have to win out. And I don't think we win out. And I think
that's why I'm not talking playoffs, because I don't believe we went out. Because like I said, we do have 2 games on the schedule that I do think are no chance of winning. Like I said, the Philadelphia, and that's 2 matchups against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is a team we clearly don't belong on we don't belong on the field with. That's a team that we don't belong on the same field with. That's a team where I can say, no fucking way we beat the Philadelphia Eagles. That's that kind of team. No way we beat the Dallas Cowboys. No way we beat the 49ers. No way we beat the Detroit Lions. Probably them either. But after that, come on, man. The New Orleans Saints, do you see the kind of football New Orleans Saints played all season long? Do you think this? I'm just saying. These are teams.
I'll give you 3 wins at best. You're going 7-10. How about that? Okay, let's split the difference here. But what are we talking about here? Really winning games for what? The season's lost, bro. The offense is putrid, right? But I just don't believe that if we're not going to win scoring 10 points, and that's what we average to score. So I get it. I mean, not every team is going to be held to 7 points. Not every team is going to be as incompetent as the last 2 teams we've seen offensively. You may not like Jordan Love, but they have a decent run game over in Green Bay. And that's how they set up a lot of their their offense is through the run game. And if we can't stop that run, it's going to be a long game day at the office for it, however we want to slice it. But hey, you know what? It is what it is.
Look, because like Washington Commanders have had bad days against the New York Giants defense this week, but they've had their offense has had some really strong performances this season against various opponents. You making it because you're being dismissive of the opponents too. Like I get that New England has been a complete shit show all season. They've been terrible all season, but the Washington Commanders offensively, the Washington Commanders, you make it seem like they haven't been doing things offensively and showing things offensively. I mean, like, and not just flashes. Sam Howell has so far put together a pretty decent season statistically. And their offense has not been like just some offense that just hasn't been able to do anything. The New York Giants defense made them not be able to do anything. At the end of the game,
they still had a chance to win. So yes, they did do something.
Well, that's the deficiencies of that is because of the deficiencies of the offense not being able to capitalize enough on the mistakes to blow the, like you said, and nobody's agreeing with that part.
If they don't get 3 turnovers and the Packers score on every drive and they get 17 points and we can barely score 10, that's not going to be good. I'm just saying we have to call a spade a spade. They literally in the game against the Patriots only scored because they were gifted points. They were gifted points in their red zone. Okay, that's what happened because the defense.
That's what it took, and that's what it takes.
Right? Exactly,
that's what it takes for this team. We all understand that.
And I think I've watched the Packers on Thursday. I've watched the Packers pretty well. I think their defense is pretty tough, pretty formidable. You're dismissing them as if, well, they're 5-6. Well, they're 5-6. Okay, yeah, but they played a good game.
I'm not dismissing them. I said they're not as good as you're saying they are. Is what I'm saying.
The Lions on Thursday.
I'm not dismissing them. I've acknowledged that they're better than us. I've acknowledged that. I acknowledge we're going to be underdogs in that football game. We're going to be home underdogs once again to another opponent. I'm acknowledging that. But at 5-6, you can't sell me on a 5-6 football team and tell me how good they are. They're 5-6. Come on, they're 5-6. Can't sell me on that being a good football team.
It's all right.
They're just okay. Just okay. They're better than us, but they're still just okay. They're not anything special. They're 5-6.
I'm not going to convince you. You're not going to convince me. Let's move on. It doesn't make sense. We're beating a dead horse now.
But not saying they run in the table, but they can absolutely beat the Packers, Saints, and Rams. There's a chance, as unlikely as we steal the first one from the Eagles and the Eagles rest their starters. Look, we're not beating the Eagles, man. So I don't know why we keep even thinking about that. We're not remotely on that level to beat the Eagles. I agree with Adam when he said the backups to the Philadelphia Eagles are probably just as good as the New York Giants starters, and that's just a real thing. So we're not beating the Eagles. I don't know why we keep even having that fantasy. Even when something about the fucking Eagles general with the Giants anyway. That's just that matchup regardless. That's always been that matchup regardless anyway. So it's like us against Washington. It's just that weird. It's that matchup where it favors one team, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles all the way there, man. I mean, look, and with the team the way the New York Giants are built, there's no fucking way we're beating the Philadelphia Eagles. I just don't see it in any way, shape, or form. So I would just that's what I would get out of your mind, thinking that we're really going to beat the Eagles. We're not going in there Christmas Day and winning that football game. There's no way I can see that happen. But let's move on, man. To the Philadelphia Eagles. Why not? And the Philadelphia Eagles, this team seems to have 9 fucking lives, man. Yet they still keep finding a way to get it done. That's what good football teams do. They find a way to get it done ultimately, no matter what. And no one seems to do that as well as the Philadelphia Eagles this year, sitting at 9-1. They could very easily have about 3 more losses at least on the year, but this team continues to find a way, even when their backs are against the walls, down by, I believe, as much as 10 in this game, still find a way to fight back, get back in it, kick a 60-yard field goal in monsoon conditions to tie the game, send it to overtime, and then Jalen Hurts with the game-winning touchdown run in overtime to seal the victory for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. What's your thoughts on this one?
The Eagles, that was a fantastic game, and that's why you saw. I know people don't want to hear this, but you saw 2 bona fide studs at the QB position show you what it means to be a good team and have a good quarterback. Both quarterbacks put their team in positions to win the game. And that's what they did. Their defenses gave up a lot of points. Jalen Hurst, look at that guy. I don't want to hear about him not being in the MVP race either. That guy deserves to be in the MVP race. Some people are saying, oh, he's not, he doesn't deserve it. He deserves it. That team was 10-1. Okay? He's playing good football. He's on an injured, bad knee, and he took the game over in overtime, and he saw a lane and he took it. I thought it was a very good game. I think it was entertaining. I thought the Bills had him on the ropes, but that's what you said. Championship teams find a way to win these type of games. They've been playing them every game since last year, right? People told me Super Bowl hangover. Guess what? This team has 10 wins, and they look better than they did last year. And they can score with anybody. They just showed you against this team they can score with the Buffalo Bills. They showed you against other teams they can stop the run. This team can do it all. Return kicks, defensive interceptions, guys all over the place running around. They've got them. Jalen Carter's having a season. Jordan Davis having a season, right? But we got to talk about the man under center. The man under center, Jalen Hurts. Put respect on that man's name because that's what he did in the bad conditions, in the rain, in overtime, cool as a fucking cucumber, goes downfield in overtime and wins the game. That's what you want. That's what you want at your quarterback position. That's what you need. That's what we saw. We saw a great duel. It was an instant classic. It's going to go back in both teams, lore. You're going to think about this game a few years from now, and you go, man, remember that game against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills? Yeah, that was crazy. Every time the Eagles play, that game's going to come up. As long as Jalen Hurst and Allen are in the game, that game's always going to come up. And I would say if the Buffalo Bills were healthy and had they defense, I would be saying, hey, man, maybe we get this preview in the Super Bowl. I don't think Buffalo's going to do it. I think this loss basically takes them out of the running.
You're talking about they're like a 10th they're like 10th right now in the AFC right now, I think. Something like that.
I don't think they're going to hop over anybody to get in, is what I'm saying. So it probably killed all their chances of making it. Had they won this game, I think they're right back in the thick of things. But I just think it's going to be a tough road for the Buffalo Bills to climb after this loss. However, for Philadelphia, they're in the catbird seat. They're at the top looking down at everybody else. You're looking up at them. They're telling you right now, the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC goes through Philadelphia until told otherwise. That means you 49ers. That means you Cowboys. You got to put the blemish on it. This team can be beat. It was shown by the Jets. This team was on the ropes against the Bills. But they don't get the one thing you can't say about the Eagles is they don't get knocked out. They don't get rattled. They just keep going and they keep coming. And you got to play all 60 minutes. Otherwise, you're going to end up, or in this case, whatever the extra time was, 70 minutes to win this game.
Well, look, like I said, the Eagles. I mean, they this game victories like this prove that they no matter how you feel about them, they are a good football team. 10-1 is you're a good football team. 10-1 is what it is. No, like I said, no style points in the standings. I'll continue to always say that it's all about the W. But this team, you got to admit, also has been getting gift wrapped some this season quite a bit. Like I said, they could easily have at least three more losses, at least. Minimum at least 3 more losses. I mean, they could have lost that first one against Washington, could have lost that first one against Dallas, could have lost to Kansas City just a week ago. I mean, that Kansas City game, if they had any receiver rough a goddamn on that football team,
I mean, hey, listen,
that Eagles wouldn't have won that football game.
I heard it all
at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Right.
At the end of the day, it is what it is. They got the W, they still won the game, but is this truly sustainable going forward? Can they just keep kind of backing into these W's like this going forward? I mean, once you get to the postseason, because they're obviously going to be in the postseason, that's no doubt about that. Once they get there and everybody you are playing is absolutely going to be pretty much a good football team, at least a decent caliber football team, because I think this has been a tough year around the whole league-wide, a tough year for teams overall. I think it's a lot of bad football teams in the NFL this year, a lot of bad football teams in both conferences, to be quite frank. But I think that is it truly sustainable, man, to keep winning the way they are winning? I mean, they got a hell of a matchup coming up this week, as we know. They got the 49ers coming to town, who's had this game circled on their calendar since the schedules come out, man. And not to say the Eagles won't be ready for them as well, But this Philadelphia Eagle team will be coming into this game. I mean, I'm not sure about the status of Fletcher Cox, who went down on Sunday. If he's not able to go, that's going to be have a big impact in this football game. Uh, and just they're just kind of a little bit banged up. I mean, this team has been a little bit banged up, and this is going to be a hell of a matchup coming up this Sunday, man. Might as well just go ahead to that because I don't know unless you have any more thing else you want to say about this Buffalo Eagles game. You might as well just start looking right at the 49ers and Eagles, man.
No, we can move on.
Because that's going to be the game of the week right there. This is the game right here. I mean, they're getting the juices flowing. The media is already trying to rile shit back up. They the other day I saw an interview with Debo Samuel where they brought up his comments he made about James Bradbury just during the off season, trying to rehash that. And Debo Samuel said, "I stand by what I said." Said that man is trash. He said, and I said it. And that's what I mean. I'm not taking that shit back. And that's how a grown man should react. I mean, that's what he said. So we'll see how all these things play out, but it's just gonna make for interesting storylines, interesting football, man. The 49ers are convinced that if Brock Purdy didn't go down in that game, that there would have been a different result in that football game on last year in the championship game. So this is one that I had circled from the beginning of the year. Period. I've been waiting to see this matchup, and I'm glad we finally here, man. How do you feel about this big time matchup in Philadelphia on
I'm
Sunday,
excited.
man?
I'm very excited. I wish John Madden were here to be calling that game. That's a John Madden type of announcement that he would be making, right? San Francisco against Philadelphia. It's got a lot of history, already a lot of bad blood. I kind of like the bad blood, to be honest with you. It kind of brings me back to the old school days of when rivalries actually mattered. You don't want to love guys. You don't want to be their friends. And if he thinks it's trash, all right, well, we'll find out on Sunday. Let him back it up. You know what I mean? This is what you want with two top teams. And this may not be the last time we see them either. This could just be a preview of what's to come, right? This is like a 12-round fight with these two teams. I do believe I want to believe the 49ers have a chance to beat this team. I do believe that. I think this is if the Eagles pass this test. I don't
Vegas thinks so.
if the
So Las Vegas thinks so.
Well, I mean, if the Eagles win this game, then Dallas may not have a chance. But if they lose this game, that game against December 10th changes everything, changes the entire team. This game is enormous for the 49ers. Absolutely enormous. If they do this, they get a stranglehold on the NFC, and that means the game against the Giants at the end of the year that everybody wants Eagles to lie down could be that, right? It could be what it's for at the end of the year. So it's an enormous game for both teams, more so the 49ers than the Eagles, because if you're the 49ers, you don't want to go back to their building like you had to go to last year. You want the playoffs to go through your building and make it a different result this time, right? If the 49ers win this game, they're going to be the top seed. They're going to have the tiebreaker over the Cowboys. And then it becomes the Cowboys' job to eliminate basically the Eagles from being the number 2 seed, right? Not saying that's a tall order, not saying it's going to happen, but that's how enormous this game is for the 49ers. We're talking about literally changing the landscape of the NFC playoff picture with this one game here. If they win this game, it changes. All bets are off. Everything changes. Eagles win this game, you might as well get ready to start making your reservations for Philadelphia, because they might be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl again if you have to go through Philly. 49ers, don't give them that opportunity. If I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm in that locker room. I don't really care what Debo Samuel said. I would talk to him about it and say, listen, man, we don't want to poke the bear. But at the end of the day, I'm in front of those guys on Saturday night and I go, you have a chance, man. You have a chance to rewrite history and make your own destiny. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to let it slip away, or are you going to control the NFC? That's how I would make this move. Of course, a little bit more fiery to give the guys goosebumps. That's what I would say.
Well, look, if the 49ers even want any chance of the NFC playoffs running through San Fran, they got to win this football game. They lose this football game, that's out the window, period. They're not going to be number 1 seed in the NFC if they lose this football game. No matter what, they're not going to be. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to, because the Eagles are going to win more football games. They're going to continue to roll, and they're going to continue to win more football games, whether they lose to Dallas the following week or not. But if San Fran loses this game, what's going on, Coach Ed? Thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate you, man. But There's just no. This is a must win for the 49ers if they want any chance of securing the number one seed in the NFC. And even if this win, they still got more work to do, obviously. But if they lose this one, you can forget about it. I mean, you can totally forget about it. And this is going to be Fox. I'm assuming Fox game of the week. This is going to have this game is going to be so captivating. As a football fan, you just got to sit there and dig into this one, man, and just enjoy it. Sit back and enjoy everything the game is going to bring to you, because this is going to be two teams right now that are building a rivalry with each other. Not really traditional rivals, but they're kind of sparking it up right now, man. Over the course of these last couple of years, these two teams are going to be good teams for the next couple of years to come. You would like to expect, and they're really mixing it up probably every year because the way the schedule is going to fly. I mean, the Eagles keep winning division, 49ers division. They're going to play every year on first place schedules alone. So this is turning into something that can turn into a big time rivalry in the NFL. I mean, back in the day, early '90s, the New York Giants and 49ers had their own little rivalry going on. I mean, even though they weren't in the same division, just based off the same reason, like I just said, just because they were, finishing and playing each other pretty much every year, and it just got into a point where they became like a rivalry game. That's how this 49ers Eagles thing is going to be. So this is just going to be a fun one to watch. I think the 49ers do edge them out here. I just think that the way the Eagles have been winning, the way the 49ers are built, I think the 49ers go out there, and I think that they do run. I like Big Simple said earlier, the game's going to be won in the trenches, and I think the 49ers, I think they're going to outdo them. I mean, Lane, talking about the Eagles, Lane Johnson looks like he may be out as well on our offensive line. That's a big blow, considering what the 49ers have is at the edge rusher positions. That's going to be a very big blow for them. I mean, like I said, without maybe Fletcher Cox maybe out there on their defense, one of the leaders, you need guys like that in games like this, because those are the kind of guys that when things may start going a little bit left and waver a little bit, they can keep these young guys together out there on that field, man, and keep everybody's head focused in the game. So we'll see, man. Las Vegas seems to think the 49ers are the better team. Apparently, got them. I mean, coming in this one in Philadelphia too, on the road as 3-point favorites. That's kind of was a little surprising to me, especially considering, the Eagles. Like I said, the Eagles are sitting up 10-1 at home. You don't see too many 10-1 teams at home as underdogs. So maybe that could even be a little motivation to the Eagles. Who knows whatever it takes to get that extra juice, get the fire burning a little bit, man. Like I said, this game is going to be the shit. I don't even know any other way to put it. I don't think nothing's going to disappoint you about this one. One thing I know I can feel confident we're not going to get is that blowout result that we had in the NFC Championship game. I don't see that happening by a mile. This one is going to be one hell of a game, and I think Christian McCaffrey is going to be the guy that's going to have to lead the way for the 49ers. I think they got to commit to him and utilize him for everything that he can do and bring to this offense. And I think that the 49ers will edge the Philadelphia Eagles out in a fairly, I want to say, fairly high scoring affair. Probably both teams play up into like early, play up into the 30s a little bit. I think it's going to be one of those kind of games like the Eagles, kind of like what the Eagles just did with Buffalo this past week. A game kind of similar to that. I think you can see it playing out a little bit like that, man.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to play out like that, because if they're up by 2 touchdowns, that defense is a lot better than Buffalo's defense. So we'll see what happens. Maybe close game. I can't count out the Eagles. I mean, I think they should have a loss or two on their belt here, but like you said, but they didn't. They won. They won those close games. The two teams I thought they were having trouble with, Buffalo and Kansas City, they got through both of them. Albeit in close game fashion, but that's what you expect when you play a good team. A good team takes you to the wire, takes you to the brink, and that's what they did. And this team is now the 49ers. This is it. The 49ers, this is a revenge game, right? Not necessarily for the Eagles because they won, but for the 49ers, this is their Great White Buffalo, right? This is that monkey on the back. They get over this team, they might have a different swagger about them, right? They might have a different aura about them. They might go out and win the rest of the remaining 4 games on their schedule after this and really call it a day, because at that point they're gonna want to be 13-4 and be the best record possible. A win is a win, right? Because you never know. Like you said, if let's say the Eagles draft the next 2 or 3 games, right? I don't know the Eagles' schedule fully, but I don't think they don't have that tough opponents coming down the stretch. But if they lose this game and they lose the Cowboys, then the Cowboys will be Giant fans come the end of the year, and so will the 49ers as they try to be number 2 seed. Either way, get the monkey off your back. Be able to beat this team so that if you do see them again, you're not because whether people want to believe it or not, you're in a team's head. Look at the Giants and the Commanders. The Giants and Commanders, it's almost always Giants victory, no matter how good the Commanders have played, because the Commanders are in the heads. The Giants are in the heads of the Commanders. The other 2 teams are in the heads of us, right? The 49er team, the Eagles have held rent for the last year. I mean, this is a recent game. You lost to them literally in January, 9 months ago. Okay, so go out there and win the game, and try to cement your legacy and basically be in the driver's seat in the NFC. I mean, they still have, like you said, some work to do. They basically have to win out, and the Eagles have to drop like at least 2 games, 3 games at least, right? So it's going to be a tough one down the stretch. But if the 49ers do it, I think they win.
I can't. I wish I would remember where I saw this at, man. Who had printed this? And it was legit. It was somebody legit too. I can't remember who the hell it was though. I should have saved it. I don't know why. I'm not good at doing that. Remember and bringing it to the show to share with you guys. But there was somebody out there, one of the a beat writer or whatever, beat reporter, somebody NFL who does covers the NFL, and they actually made a statement. I want to see how you feel about this, Adam, about comparing the Philadelphia Eagles to the 2022 Minnesota Vikings as far as the way they're winning some of these football games this season.
I don't think that's real. I don't really think that's them. I think the Minnesota Vikings had no defense. This team has a defense. It shows up in games when they need it to, right? So I don't think that's a good comparison to make at all. Yeah, they're winning close games here and there, but they've blown teams out, and throughout the season they've dominated in certain games. Minnesota never really dominated in too many games, right? They didn't have that You're like, oh man, look at that defense. No, Buffalo, they had a field goal, but this year they're winning. I think those 2 teams are totally different from each other. I don't think that they're the same, even in the same caliber. The Vikings broke a record for most close games in a year. The Eagles aren't breaking that record. We're not breaking that record. Yeah, they might have won some close games recently because the competition's gone up. But you're going to see them blow the doors off a few of these teams down the stretch as they have the Giants and a few other, booty-ass teams. You're going to say, oh, okay, they're not the Commanders. I mean, they're not the the Minnesota Vikings. Excuse me. I just think these people
Yeah,
don't
I'm
have
not sure. I mean,
they really don't have anything to write about.
go ahead, finish.
The media, they have nothing to write
Yeah,
about. They have to do these stories.
look, I feel like this Philadelphia Eagle team, they're just a good football team, well coached, and whether you like it or not, you gotta give credit where credit's due. This team they go out there, they're winning football games, like I said, and at the end of the day, I don't even know why. Me personally, I don't care how you get a W. I just don't. The W is all that matters. That's what you're going setting out there to do is get the damn win. And it doesn't matter how you get it. If you get the W, you get the damn W. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you want them to stop winning, then do something about it. Beat them. And so far this year, only the Jets have been able to actually close the deal on the Eagles. And that sounds crazy in itself. One of the absolute worst teams that they've played is the only team
That defense
that
was,
hung an L on them. So
and that's because that defense was absolutely ferocious. So, and listen, they've had chances to lose.
so
Teams didn't come through, right? Kansas City dropped a pass. But, if it's in butts or candies, not every day be Christmas. I think this team is better than it is last year. Call me crazy. I do believe they have a chance to be picked off, but every time I say that, they win. So, all they've done in the last 2 years is win. They're like what? 17-5 or some shit, 17-6 or more than that, 27-6 and some shit like that with 17 wins last year. And then
Jalen Hurts has put together a record of something like I don't even know how many consecutive wins. It's a record that's been he tied for like something back in like the 50s or something like that. Where he's put together I can't remember how many wins it is now against teams with winning records. So that's impressive all in itself because that means he's going out there getting the job done against better competition. You know what I mean? He's not going out there just beating up, which is take it back to the Dak Prescott stereotype, which has been the Dak Prescott thing. You know what I mean? Where he beats up on the poor competition. Jalen Hurts is not doing that. He's going out there beating teams with winning records, and he's put together quite the streak. So, you feel how you want to about the Philadelphia Eagles? 10-1 is 10-1. I don't give a damn what the hell close the score was. I don't care about the point differential that people have been bringing up about the Eagles this season, about their point differential. It just 10-1 is 10-1. And until somebody does something about it, they're the best damn team in football. Until somebody else does something about it, whether you like it or don't like it.
At least the best team in the NFC. The champs are still on the other side, but
yeah, they are. But they beat the champs last week, so
yeah,
they beat that. They beat that team last week.
We'll see. The belt doesn't change hands like it
does right now. Nobody else. Well, I mean, I get that, but I'm not saying. I'm just saying right now, currently at 10-1, there's nobody else with only one loss. They're the only one loss team in the NFL. So
we'll see what happens, man. I mean, I think we're better than last year.
Like Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are, and that record says they're 10-1 right now. So if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. I don't like it, but I got to deal with it. I got to live with it.
It is what it is.
I hate it. But that's just what it is.
They've been built well, So, and they're going to have sustained success, people. Sorry to say this. The Eagles are going to be around for a long time.
But yeah, they definitely will be. But real quick before we roll out, I don't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about the New Year Giants press conference. We don't have to. We can just leave that shit alone. It doesn't matter.
We'll just wait till the end of the year and see where we fall, and then make our determinations that way. If the Giants end up, which I think the Giants are going to end up with no more than 6 wins, I think 2 more at the very least are coming. I just think 2 losses to the Eagles and probably a loss to the Packers, Saints, or Rams. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that they lose those games. I don't. They won 1 game in every month, in every quarter of the season. They won 1 in September, 1 in October, and 1 in November. Let's see if they can. The trend probably will continue at least, and we'll see.
Think about it like that.
Well,
maybe think about it like that. 1 a month.
Well, technically,
1 a month. New York Football Giants.
Well, technically 2 in October. They won in September. Then they beat the Commanders in October. And then, who they beat again? They had a third
game.
Game.
They beat the
Commanders twice.
No, they beat the Commanders and the Patriots both in November.
Oh, the Patriots, right? Both in November. Sorry, November. So yeah, they won a couple games. Maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll win 2 games in December. And that'll be about it. And we'll see what happens. At the end of the day. I think I don't think we're as good as we hope, but we'll see. Other than that, the press conference, I don't want to talk about it, really. I've been talking about it all week, so.
Just want to give a shout out to my guy, Tommy DeVito, man. Gotta give a shout out to my guy, man. You know what I mean? Tommy DeVito.
You're doing the Paisan sign.
You are what you are, kid.
You're doing the Paisan sign.
You are what you are, kid.
At least do it right.
You are what you are, kid.
At least do it right. Gobble. Okay?
Look, I know I fucked it up, man. Look, I fucked it up the first time. All right, my bad. But
that's like giving somebody the middle finger upside down. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's upside down.
Yo, stop. I know. But kid, look, he's undrafted free agent rookie kid. Look, I get it. He's not the answer, guys. People, please stop thinking that he's going to be some kind of long-term solution at quarterback for the New York Giants. But the kid is what he is, and he's not losing the New York Giant football games either. He might not be out there killing it, but he's not losing football games either. So at the end of the day, the team seems to whatever energy he seems to be giving them. This kid has confidence because and it's easy to have confidence when you're not worried, when you don't care about it, when you don't really when you can play loose because you don't give a damn because nobody expects anything from you anyway. So it just makes you go out there and just say, fuck it. I'm gonna just throw the ball all over the field. I'll throw an interception, nobody cares anyway, for real. I'm just Tommy DeVito. That's why I love the way this kid, the way he's approaches to the right now to this situation he's had and to his opportunity that he's gotten. And like I said, maybe he can play himself into and becoming at least a full-time backup quarterback for this football team going forward. I mean, that's more the lane I see him in. And honestly, with what he's doing right now, I'd be okay with that. I mean, so far what he's shown me enough that I'd be pretty comfortable with that. I mean, at least he's a guy that come in and is not going to completely be a complete disaster. I mean, he's got his obstacles to overcome, but
as long as Daniel Jones
definitely get that.
I don't care who plays quarterback. I don't care.
He's got to work on that pocket presence, that pocket awareness. That's kind of weak. He got to get that in check because them sacks he's taking a lot of sacks.
Well, he's
doing that to take. You know what I mean? So that's
it's not necessarily the pocket presence. Is he's doing it to not turn the ball over. He'd rather take a sack than turn the ball over. Unlike Daniel Jones, he understands what he's doing at the quarterback position. I don't necessarily care if he's the backup as long as we have somebody in here that's a little bit better, a little bit more cachet. If he ends up beating out, let's say, you bring in a veteran arm at the end and you draft the quarterback, if he ends up beating the veteran out, fine. But I don't want any Tyrod Taylor here's. I don't want any of these bastards here. Get me somebody good. I don't see. The thing is, it's not that I don't like Tommy DeVito. I just don't want to rest on our laurels that Tommy DeVito is going to now all of a sudden change the franchise next year and make us this Super Bowl contending team in the next few years. He's an average quarterback that's played average, had some good games, some solid throws here and there, doing better than our putrid quarterback. He looks better than a below average starter. That's what we have playing for us, right? We have the funniest part about the Giants, and this will be the last point I make about it, is the Giants have had a sample size of 3 different quarterbacks. How many teams can you say in one season have had a sample of 3 different quarterbacks that have played at least 2 games or more and shown you 3 different styles, right? 2 of them have thrown more touchdowns than the starter and have won at least the same amount of games as the starter. That's sad.
Look, Tommy DeVito got 7 touchdown passes, so he's leading the way, man. He's leading the way, and he's had less opportunity than both of them. So
he's halfway to 15, folks. If he gets 15 touchdowns, ooh.
So at the end of the day, man, look, Tommy DeVito, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. They was playing the Sopranos music when he came into the stadium on Sunday, man. It's a whole thing, man. I don't know, man. It's something about this kid sparking a little bit of energy around the New York Giants, man, facility right now. Yeah. And this season is probably pretty much a wash, as we all agree. I think most of us agree with anyway that this season is pretty much, forget about it. But at the end of the day, might as well finish with a little bit. Leave a little smile on my face, at least for me. For me, at least, anyway.
Well, you can take Tommy chicken parm.
I'll take whatever we can do. Hey, man, I'll take it. I'll take some of that chicken parm, man. I'm about to get one of them little Tommy Cutlet T-shirts. I seen them floating around, man. About to get one of them joints, man.
You guys are buying it. I mean, maybe because I grew up with Paisans all my life. It's like, all right, man. I know it's just funny how a Jersey guy would be doing that.
Damn, Bookends, man. Bookends said got a little message for you, Adam, man.
Yeah, well, good. You don't have to have the paramedics ready for me. You can enjoy watching Daniel Jones not beat the Ravens, the Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Bengals. You can enjoy that. And then when we're sitting here in QB hell 5 years from now, and you guys are like, "Oh, we won against the Patriots," we'll see. It is what it is.
Well, we'll see, man. I think we'll still get one of them quarterbacks, even no matter where we're picking at in the first round, because I still think we'll still be, not in the top 10, we'll be still right around there and to still be in position to maybe make something happen and get one of those guys, man, because you never know how the rest of the draft's going to play out. none of us know. You never know who's going to make moves, try to trade up. You never know who's going to take quarterbacks to the top of the draft. You don't know what quarterbacks are going to slide like they always do every year. So like I said, we'll see. We'll get there, and we get there, and we figure it out. And when we get there and work things out, I think there's no way this team's not taking a quarterback. I think they just don't want to, like you said, keeping things close to the vest right now. Those press conferences, I'm not buying in none of that shit. Daniel Jones ain't even going to be ready to play until like at least October next year, probably. So that's why all those comments, I'm just taking them with a grain of salt right now, man. But I think this team does have to get one of these guys if they have an opportunity to. I just think
Here's the
they might have
finishing.
played themselves Caleb out of the Caleb Williams and maybe Drake May possibilities. You know what I mean? Those guys will probably be for sure gone before a New York Giant pick, but there's still other good guys out there that you guys been talking about. And I think it's possible any one of those guys could slip down the draft board a little bit. I mean, it just happens every year. It always happens to somebody every year. There's
Well,
some one of our top
go
guys
get one of
slips and
them.
slides a little bit. So
Don't miss out. Don't miss
as
out on the
long as
QB sale happening in April. Buy now. So QB sale, move up. Like Bookend says, I know he's going to lose his mind. It's not that I'm going to lose my mind. I'm just going to shake my head at this franchise at what you're doing. Like you're going to roll it back with a guy who has 2 neck injuries and a knee injury and call that smart business. I mean, if that's your plan, you should be fired after the draft if you don't draft a quarterback with a significant pick. That's just me. So if that's how they want to do it, they can do it like that. My last question to you is Tommy DeVito or Tyrod Taylor, who's starting the rest of the way?
I'm starting Tommy DeVito the rest of the way for sure. There's not even a doubt in my mind. Even though Tyrod Taylor came in and definitely was seemed to be an upgrade from what you got when Daniel Jones out there as well. I think Tommy DeVito's even still been even a little bit more of an upgrade from Tyrod Taylor as well too. This team seems to just gravitate a little more even around him.
It's cool. It's
They
cool,
just seem to
Bookend.
be rallying a little bit more, and I'm just liking. I like the energy that Tommy DeVito seems to spark. Man, this kid plays fearlessly, and I
Trade him.
just have a respect for that because I know the mentality of him is. I mean, why should he hold anything back? There's no expectations for this kid. Everything he's doing is an audition for the whole league, honestly. Not even just the New York Giants, just to prove that he belongs. So why hold anything back? He goes out there fearlessly. Like I said, throwing the ball downfield. Jalen Hyatt, it should not have taken 12 weeks for Jalen Hyatt to have his first 100-yard game. It just shouldn't have. That's ridiculous. And now we need to get this kid in the end zone as well. I mean, that's the next step for like a guy like that, a talent like that. And I just feel he's been more involved in his offense, a lot more involved. Even though Tyrod Taylor was getting him a little more involved than like Daniel Jones had him earlier part of the year. He's even been even more involved with Tommy DeVito out there now, quarterback. So to me, you can't go back to Tyrod Taylor at this point. You got to keep Tommy DeVito out there and see and just evaluate him as your backup quarterback, maybe going forward for the future.
Listen, what I would love
That's
to
my
do
feeling about Tommy
is
DeVito.
visit Tommy DeVito's house and get some of that chicken parm. I know his mom makes a great spread. If I know things about North Jersey Italians, they know how to cook. Okay, so I went Tommy DeVito. You know what? Throw some chicken cutlets my way. I'm always down to have some chicken cutlets. I live in New Jersey. Let's see if we can go out and have some dinner. You know what I'm saying? His dad looks like a good fella too, with the cigar in his mouth and the shades and
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
jacket. So
His family looks like that total, like almost fits the stereotype almost. When they showed his pictures of his
almost,
family at the game,
almost it does fit.
it was
What do you
just
mean
like,
almost? Doesn't it's the
okay, yeah,
stereotype.
I was trying to be nice. I was trying to be nice. Okay, it definitely does.
If you were thinking of Italian
It's
family,
awesome.
that's what you're thinking of right there. I'm just saying. Blonde hair, a guy with a leather jacket, with a cigar in his mouth, shaking his hand at you, saying, how you doing? What's it to you? Get out of here. You know what I mean? Trust me. You know how it happens. Listen, I know you're talking. I mean, DeVito's talking my language. I know. I grew up in an area similar to him. In with Italians all over the place. So we know this is not my first rodeo. You know what I mean? They don't, you're thinking more New York Italians. New Jersey Italians are like, forget about it. Get out of here. Take a walk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I do agree with this comment, man. He's just a local kid getting a chance to live out a childhood dream. I mean,
Listen,
playing against a team that I'm assuming he followed the Giants growing up as a kid, and And
Probably. Yeah.
another thing, I saw an image with him, a picture of him and Victor Cruz, where Victor Cruz, when he was rehabbing, coming back from the big torn patella tendon, he was rehabbing. He actually, Tommy DeVito had just won a state championship in high school, and he went out there and was actually throwing passes to Victor Cruz back then. And it's kind of crazy how the Wagner circle, and now Tommy DeVito here is now the quarterback for the New York Giants, at least I
GG.
would think for the rest of this season.
See, you know what? You know
So
what?
pretty
If he
dope, man.
wasn't an undrafted free agent, right? I think the narrative would be a little different, right? If he were a fifth round pick and he had some hoopla about him and some hubbub, right? You know, and some hoots, you know what I'm saying? Like it would be a different story because he's undrafted. I think, you know, it's a little different. Don Bosco is a baller school. If no one knows what Don Bosco is, they're one of the top schools in New Jersey. It's them and Bergen Catholic a lot. They're a huge rival. A lot of these guys from Don Bosco and Bergen Catholic end up on big college programs and in the NFL. So, you know, if anything, he's putting Don Bosco on the map, that's for sure, because his college career wasn't great. But he definitely sure did. He definitely is a Jersey legend. He probably didn't have to buy too many sandwiches, but I guarantee you his local deli has named a sandwich after him probably. Give me the DeVito! Give me the DeVito! Right? And he's probably doesn't have to buy a sandwich at any deli in around. I'm sure I've heard a pizza place has sent him a chicken parm. They're probably sending him another chicken parm. He's probably gonna get pizza. The kid's he's living the dream. He's living the dream right now. So good for him. Enjoy it while it lasts, because as fast as they give it to you, they take it back that quickly as well. So enjoy it while you can. Hopefully you're here for the Giants as a backup for as long as possible. That way you're a local kid. You can stay in your mom's basement, save all the money that you need. And then when you're done with the NFL career, you can go on to be, you know, one of the good fellas, you know, and don't forget to call Vinny on this and take him out. You know what I'm saying? Forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a lot of people that's kind of almost hoping for like a Brock Purdy like story from Tommy DeVito, but it's just not the same situation, not the same type of a team, and it's not the same. I think people need to kind of temper that. I think
he has
Purdy,
a chance to come back next year at least.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I don't. We'll see. We'll see. It is a great story though. It's
Man,
cool. Like
bookends.
I said, we'll get to finish the season out hopefully with
You're a little
this
older than
young
me,
kid and see what he can do.
because
And maybe he will get a couple more wins, and maybe, but we'll see.
because when I was growing up,
As long as he keeps being productive and positive.
it was Bergen Catholic and, you know, Don Bosco. We dealt with. You heard about them all the time. They were always in the newspaper. You know, the team that I played for was trash, but in the headlines of the Bergen Record, there they were, Don Bosco and Bergen Catholic, and they basically, you know, are always in the newspaper. Them and Paramus Park and all the big schools out there. You know, Jersey football is big. It really is. There is a lot of good Jersey football there. Don Bosco and Bergen Catholic kind of lead the way, but a lot of guys, like I say, come from Jersey, and that's why Rutgers should be better than they are. But a lot of these guys go to bigger programs than they do now. Now Rutgers is getting some guys now. Got Greg Schiano back, but you know, I will say this: Joe Shane did a good job of looking at talent within the home surrounding areas. Tommy DeVito probably was one of those guys that got one of those local visits because he's a local kid from a local school, local area, and he probably got visited that way. Oh my God, Paramus Catholic they were pretty good. They were pretty good when I grew up. They weren't great. They weren't on the Bosco or Bergen Catholic level, but Catholic was there. You know, Paramus Catholic. Those schools, I'm telling you, man, those private schools, they are good. They breed football. That's what they do. That's one of the reasons you go there. Academics and football, and they don't take it like my school. They didn't care about winning state titles at my school. I mean, I played at my school, but they didn't care about state titles. These Bergen Catholic, Don Bosco, Paramus Catholic, they care about state championships. They tend to be in the finals every year, and you see them play at MetLife Stadium. I think he actually won his state championship in MetLife Stadium, if I'm not mistaken, with Don Bosco. But that's all I got. You know, he's a Jersey Paisan, and let's see. Man, going back to high school football, and I used to love high school football when I was in it because it was just a different animal. But now when you watch high school football, you know, unless your son is playing it or you know that someone's playing it, it's kind of tough.
It's weird. I feel like everybody's little as shit now for some reason. I don't know. I feel like all these kids are small as hell. Like
They don't.
it's
They,
weird when I go.
they're on that
I
vegan.
ride
They're on that vegan diet.
by. I ride by. I can barely tell who the hell the linemen are anymore at this point. Like, who the fuck are the big guys at, man?
They're on
like,
that vegan diet.
crazy.
They want them to be healthy. We grew up. You wanted your guy to
How's
be
it going, Earl?
You know, you wanted your guy to be basically a rock in the middle, fall and have all the linemen fall on top of him in the middle. That's what, like the Gilbert was that Gilbert Brown for the Packers back in the day. I had a guy on my team that was
Gilbert Brown.
Man, he was pretty heavy set. He's not heavy set anymore, but gosh, Lord, man, I remember the first day they put me out in Oklahoma drills, and if you don't know what Oklahoma drill is, people, it's where you lie on your back and you have to get up as fast as possible and outrun the guy, right? And I was the first day of practice. I did not want to get railroaded by this guy. So I think I got up the quickest I ever got up in a helmet and pads in my life and ran by him for I guess what would be a touchdown in practice. But man, whew, he was barely on a knee when I got. He got up so fast. I got up so fast. He was just getting to his knee. That's how fast it was. I said to myself, I'm not getting planted in the ground here, man. Woo!
Good shit, man. All right, fellas, man. It's been a great show, everybody. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Earl, you know you just came in. Thanks for stopping in. But we about to wrap things up, man. Bookend tackles, no mess, no nest, no jets. Always holding down the chat. Appreciate you, good brothers, man. Big Simple, Philly B. Man, appreciate y'all. Coach Ed coming through, man. No doubt indeed. Ghost Dog Blue 76. Appreciate you stopping in, man. Jose Perez and Hit Squad Productions, man. No doubt indeed, man. Definitely appreciate y'all, man. Wales, Daniel Barry, man. All you guys, we definitely appreciate the support, man. You guys continue to come through every week and take a little time out of y'all Wednesday evening to come hang out and chill with me and Adam breaking down the NFC East Division, man. And we definitely really appreciate it. We can't do this without y'all, man.
Yeah,
so thanks for everybody tuning in.
No hard feelings, people. Just let you know. But it's no hard feelings.
No doubt, man. Everybody, we all gonna have our different opinions. That's what makes the world beautiful, man. Ain't all supposed to be out here saying the same thing and believing in the same thing necessarily, man. Just, you know, we're all unique individuals and we all believe things we do. Like Adam said the other day on Aftermath, and he said it on here too. Fan how you want to fan, man. No judgment, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And with that being said, we'll be back with y'all again next Wednesday, same time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And guess what? The New York Giants definitely not losing the game this week. So, you know, cheer for that. But this your boy Mac, the Giants fan. This is my guy, super dope co-host Adam Costas, man. This has been another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Round-Up.
See ya.
I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MACDA Giants fan.